everyone, it's Libby from Maighstir Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. And yes, the sun is so it's coming in at an angle there, which is why so I do apologise if that messes with the lighting. That's all right, I don't mind being cast in the shadow as the mysterious. Let's put a little blurry on there. Okay, what I want to have a look at in this particular reading, and what deck am I going to use? I'm actually going to use the Tripping Weight Tarot. If you don't catch if you want to know what the deck is, I always say and usually hold up the box at the beginning. So just, you know, go back, have another look, pause it if you need to write it down. I want to have a look at the orange twerp at the moment. What's happening is that he's now come out and basically said a lot of Americans would look like a dictator, and then he backpedals and says, but I'm not a dictator, I just use common sense, you know, all that usual sort of BS when he's said something that he actually is thinking, and then he tries to cover himself up. So basically what's happened is the orange twerp has come out and signed an executive order. Now, I said this before November the 5th, that if he got into power, it would be ruling by decree. And that's what executive orders are, ruling by decree. So an executive order basically authorising Pete Hegseth, to create a special unit in the National Guard to deal with public issues. Now, I believe that the National Guard are not allowed to fire on citizens of the United States. Basically, what the orange twerp has done has ordered Hegseth to create a special unit that can, is the feels I got from that reading between the lines. He's also setting Hegseth up as the fall guy for this. He never does anything without having somebody to take the blame if it backfires on him. And I do want to apologise for the other week saying that Alex Whiting looked like that Superman guy from Lois and Clark back in the 80s. That turned out to be Dean Cain, who was turned out to be a huge disappointment, and apparently at the ICE training camp that's been set up, he was brought in to do some big rah-rah speech to the recruits. They're really struggling to get recruits, and then did the obstacle course and literally flopped his way through the obstacle course. Yeah, flopped as he was fully exposed as the fraud he is. Highly disappointed. So yeah, he won't be compared to Alex Whiting anytime soon again, ever again. Alex Whiting, in case you were wondering, was the RICO specialist that was brought in by Jack Smith in regards to the documents case, and the Tanya Chutkan, I was just about to say Janet again, the Tanya Chutkan case, I believe, in New York in regards to January the 6th. I keep calling her Tanya Chutkan. Yeah, I keep calling her Janet, and I did a reading about that at the time. This is going back months and months. Why do I keep calling her Janet Chutkan? She was Janet in a past life, an amazing woman in a past life, because I did a past life reading on her. And yeah, she was the reading I got was that she, during World War II, she was a reconnaissance photographer. She was a pilot reconnaissance photographer in World War II. World War II? Well, no, World War I. Let me get that right. World War I. And she died near the end of World War I. Just an incredible, yeah, there she is. Absolutely. Queen of Swords. Tanya Chutkan, but that's why I keep calling her Janet, and I have to stop and think of what her actual name is, because the figure at that past life, her most recent past life, was Janet. We managed to track her down. Okay, but that's not what I'm looking at. What I want to have a look at is the orange twerp is now saying that he's going to send next. He's going to send the National Guard into Chicago because of the extreme crime in Chicago. Well, I hate to tell you, but 8 out of the 10 worst crime cities are Republican cities, and the 8 out of the 10 worst crime states, this is true statistics, are Republican states, Republican governors. So this has got, and we said it at the time with Washington, it's got nothing to do with actual crime. It's about instilling fear. It's about distraction. It's about singling out blue cities, etc., and because these blue cities are protecting legitimate immigrants and the rest of it. That's all it is about. So Governor Pritzker did an amazing speech and said, don't come. I gather in Washington, D.C., there are groups of citizens that are following the National Guard around, threatening them with sandwiches. Love it. And it's not dinner time yet. And if you could hear that, that's Bendy. She does get very talkative at times. And threatening them with sandwiches. Now, a dictatorship requires a fear of the regime, and what is happening with what Newsom are doing and Pritzker is doing and the citizens are doing, and etc. and so forth. All these people that are stepping up and taking leadership roles, Duckworth, Durbin, White House, just AOC, Crockett, even Kinzinger, and all of them, they're all stepping up, even Pence. And literally, I did that reading on Pence the other day, and that is Bindi talking. She's going, feed me, Mum. It's not dinner time yet. I did a reading on Pence, and lo and behold, there he comes out 2 days in a row following that, standing up against what the regime are doing, or coming out against it. I wouldn't say he's standing up. So I'm just going to have a look with what's happening now. I did post the link to the Orange Twerp's statement in regards to Chicago, and he said, and they don't, I acknowledge it right now, say we don't need him, freedom. What? What? I think he's heading really quickly for a stroke. Absolutely. And I'm saying weeks, not months here. I know he's had mini strokes. I'm getting a major stroke for him where he's trapped within his own body. And this is why the puppet masters, the string pullers, those hiding behind the curtain that are finding themselves exposed, are at their most dangerous, because they know time is running out and they're trying to get everything done before he goes, because they know when he goes, they don't have the MAGA base. Okay, a heart event, vascular event. I'm just going to say it is. Now, if you haven't seen Susan Lynn's video about Orange Twerp's soul walking through her house, yeah, his soul is checking out. He is at that last off ramp. Okay, let's have a look. What do we, okay. Is he going to be placing National Guard in Chicago? Is he going to achieve it, and how is that going to go? The National Guard. I'm seeing the Washington ones. They're almost like walking around again going, what are we here for? Yeah, it's almost like they're lost in what they're supposed to be doing. And then I want to have a look at him signing this executive order. So, National Guard in Chicago. Right, wild-eyed, on the back foot, on the defensive. Like every other reader, as soon as we start reading on him, we get a cough. Yeah, he's on the back foot defensive because his health is gone. I'm going to say it's out. It's out in the cold. He's out for lunch. Okay. The National Guard in Chicago, he's trying to make it happen, but he's he's not on stable footing in regards to this. The announcement was made, but it's the Page of Wands, the energy stewing in. The decree was made, but it doesn't have substance. It's not the King of Wands who is the actual doing. This is just simply the announcement. In the past, the Temperance card, this is how do we spin it? How do we bring it about? Trying to put the puzzle pieces together. But it's on full view. Everybody knows what he's trying to achieve. The High Priestess, the hidden agenda being revealed, the secrets being revealed, being fully seen for what it is. It's like they released the Maxwell recordings as a distraction and from the demand for the Epstein files, and it fizzled. It literally, it's a fire. It was a wet Tom Thumb. I'm just going to put it out there. It was a wet Tom Thumb, and it fizzled before it even got off the ground. Yeah, he's in this nightmare situation where he's trying to come up with something else, another strategy. I need another strategy, but they're just literally falling apart around him. Here we've got externally claiming it as a win, but internally finding himself more and more isolated and trying to find a path forward, and he can't. Hopes and fears, the gift from the past, the naivety, the dementia, giving the gift in the past, promises made in the past. It could simply be his dementia. Ace of Swords, legal action, being forced to walk away from this, and the Empress. Forcing to walk away. Russia, I don't think, is going to be happy, and they might release something. And then we've got him striking out or finding himself restricted as volatile information comes forward and secrets are revealed. Oh, out in the cold. They're desperately trying to keep him upright with that Eight of Pentacles with his health, desperately working on his health. But it's his time. His time has come, and it's come too soon. They thought they were going to get through to at least the midterms, just before the midterms, and they were going to replace him with Shady just before the midterms in 26 is what I'm being told. That was the plan, so that Shady could then have, because it was before the halfway through, he could then get 10 years. But it's just not happening. It's not, fool's gold melting. His health is melting. His health, so the dementia, his health is just literally melting before our eyes. They're desperately trying to keep him upright at the moment. Okay, so no, I think that legal action will stop it. So let's have a look. This special executive order for a special unit within the National Guard to deal with the public. And we've got that flew out again, the walking away. He may have to walk away from this as well. His strength is waning. So let's have a look. This executive order. So how does the National Guard feel about this? The executive order to create a special unit within the National Guard to deal with public issues. This is to deal with the citizens, because I gather the National Guard is there to protect, not to attack. The National Guard I haven't looked into the reading of it. You want me to stop there? What does the National Guard think about this? They don't like it. It's almost like the ruling has come down from on high and there was no consultation. The order came down and they are expected to obey is the challenge. They're the ones that are sort of sleeping rough in the warehouses and having to beg for a slice of pizza for dinner. They don't like it. We've got the announcement, huge announcement coming out here in the past, the hidden agenda. Yeah, he's always wanted to do this. Crowning the reading, the inability to harvest this idea, this opportunity. Again, the National Guard don't like it. I don't know that they're going to be in on this. And we've got loss and disappointment here. Not being able to bring it home. You've got the Page of Swords. There might be some legal threat to make it happen. The National Guard, they don't want anything to do with this, is what I'm getting internally, and formulating a new strategy. Yeah, the infighting that's going to come out. Yeah, rejection, delusional, and things coming to an end. Defending. There's the orange twerp on the bottom. He thought it was a good idea, but yeah, he's getting some bizarre information. Unexpected out of left field brain fart. I'm just going to say that. I think it came from an oligarch, but we've got judgment, we've got strength, and then we've got the vascular event and him forcing into retreat. I think the oligarchs have pushed this on him to do. Why would they do that? What is their interest? I mean, I know their interest is fear. Oh yeah, there'll be I was mentioning, I can't remember in my previous video about divvying up, the oligarchs wanting to divvy up. One of them wants to divvy up the prison system. One wants, one wants the idea is to make us all fearful slaves throughout the world, where basically the slaves are forced to work for a pittance and pay for their own food and accommodation. Well, they split up. One will have transport, one will have product marketing or whatever, one will have AI, one will have the military, one will have, all this sort of thing. One of them has the prison system, the for-profit prison system, absolutely. But again, this being forced to walk away from it. So, yeah, I'm just going to say oligarchical, intergenerational money, but they're going to be forced to walk away from it. But why are they wanting? Why are they wanting? Why? Because they know the orange twerp is going down. And when he does, it'll be too late. 5 of Pentacles. They want the people fearful and impoverished, but they know that they're running out of time. If I glimpse there, we've got the Nightmare card and we've got the walking away again. And then we've got the 10 of Wands, which is just too burdensome, and we've got the loss as the big stick comes out. They're wanting the nightmare situation because the orange twerp is going quickly. They need to formulate something new. They're planning something behind the scenes, but I just don't think they're going to be able to implement it in time. That's what I'm getting. They want. Is this about controlling, putting fear into the population and controlling the population? There's that card again. Yes. Yeah. They basically, and yet they're getting massive pushback as the people just are not prepared. But that's their hidden agenda. Yeah, that's what they want. They want the people. We're coming up for winter. They want the homeless. There's some sort of agreement here about the homeless people being forced into the prison system, is what I'm getting. They've done that in Washington, D.C. Oh, that was Spot. If you heard that little cough there. Is this the hidden agenda, and they don't like what's on offer here? Is this to force homeless people into the prison system, the mercenary? Card on the top that keeps flipping out at me, the Chariot, Two of Swords, and the Hierophant. Yeah, the National Guard. And you've got those supporting this move. There might be some legal challenges to it, is what I'm getting, that will hold it off hopefully long enough. Is that what they're after? Is this being put up by whomever wants to make by oligarchs for detention centres and prisons, to make money off detention centres and prisons? Far out, man. Trying to harvest more money. Challenged by the Queen of Cups. They're looking at what is yet to be uncovered, what they can tap into, basically. That's their challenge. They're not satisfied with what they've got. They're always seeking the more. So they're looking to see what they can tap into by tapping into the emotions. You've got the Wheel of Fortune here at the bottom. Those that were on the top ending up on the bottom. The wheel is turning. The announcement coming out of the White House, I think this is the people standing up against it, but the announcement coming out of the White House, the rah, rah, rah announcement coming out of the White House, the loss and disappointment, never happy with what they do have. They're always looking at what they haven't got. So I'm going to say, yeah, this is ick. It's about making more money, keeping more money at the top of the pyramid there. Pyramid needs to be inverted. Pyramid should always be, yeah, it's the homeless people, but you've got this pushback fighting happening. This pushback fighting happening from the likes of Pritzker. They're going to find themselves restricted. And then we've got the voters. They didn't expect the voters to push back on what is so fervently as what I'm getting. I think they thought that they could just go in and do this, but there's a real pushback in regards to this. You've got the military, the executive order offer being made, the foolishness of it, trying to turn them into mercenaries, and it's not going to end well. Yeah. Stand strong. Forewarned is forearmed. If you know what their motivation is, you can look like something off a horror movie there. If you know what their motivation is, you will not be horrified from it. You will know that that's where they're coming from, and you can push back at that particular point. But that's what they're doing. Entertainment only. It's just the whole thing's smile. Enjoy the laughter of your grandchildren. Run under the sprinkler. Plant a tree. Cuddle your dog. Breathe in the air. Go for a walk. There are amazing, amazing people nature, love, light, and a whole fabulous world out there. Get into it, embrace it, and know that it will be okay in the end, because they know that their grip is slipping, and it will continue to slip as they go down the gurgler. Okay, love to you all. Take care.